If you're a real estate investor and are wondering how to raise and leverage private money to make more profit on every deal, then you're in the right place. On Raising Private Money, we'll speak with new and seasoned investors to dissect their deals and extract the best tips and strategies to help you get the money, because the money comes first. Now here's your host, Jay Conner.
I see. And say hello, Chris. I just want to make sure that we can hear you.
I am here. Thanks for having me again, Jay. Hello, everybody. I see a lot of familiar faces.
And look, if you all have not met Chris, which most of you all have not met Chris before, you will learn very, very quickly. He's got almost as beautiful of a Southern accent as I do. So yeah. I'm sure you will pick up on that right away. But anyway, for those of you that have not met Chris, and most of you have not, let me give you just a quick little bit about his background. Then we're going to turn it over to you, Chris. Yeah. Because Chris has got an amazing presentation for us that he's titled The Secrets to Creating 3 Paydays Per Deal Without Cash, Credit, or Banks. And Chris promises to get us in and get us out on time. We will be finished by 5 p.m. Eastern time. So everybody, you'll be on schedule today. So no worries there. Anyway, I've known Chris for many, many years. What myself and my team and Crystal, what we teach and coach on private money is a perfect complement to what Chris teaches. Chris is an expert on creative financing, like Crystal Baker herself. Crystal's the queen is subject to. I guess you'd say Chris Pre's the king is subject to. So we got the king and the queen here today on the PMA. But private money and creative deals really go hand in hand. You can use private money while you're doing creative deals and et cetera. Anyway, Chris is a 4 times best-selling author. He's the founder of what's called Smart Real Estate Coach, chairman and founder of that. And like myself, he hosts an amazing podcast, which, by the way, all you PMA members, if you haven't subscribed to Raising Private Money, my podcast, you certainly want to do that as well. But Chris has got an amazing podcast that I've been on a few times. The name of his podcast is called Smart Real Estate Coach Podcast. His podcast actually ranks in the top 0.5% globally. So he's got quite a following there. So Chris, you're the expert on this trademark that you've done, put together 3 paydays per deal. So with that, Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you, and hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A. If anybody has any questions, we'll take care of those at the end.
Absolutely. Jay, thanks for having me. I think it's always great you and I swap communities, because it is a great little marriage of what we do. They complement each other greatly. Scott and Crystal, good to see you guys as usual. It's getting to be a regular occurrence, so it's good to see you guys. I'm going to Jay's point, I'm going to keep an eye on my clock up my window here and make sure I keep you guys on time. And so in my New England style, I am going to go fast. This is meant to just give you guys exposure to what we do and what is possible for you to marry into what you're already doing. And so by the end of this, as brief as we're going to touch on all these, I want to hit a few common mistakes. I'm pretty blunt and open, and this is my 34th year in biz, so I've seen a lot, unfortunately. I want to talk about the 3 paydays framework and sort of show you how that looks on some case studies. We won't have time for all, but I'll show you a few case studies with real math, so you can see what it means to have the 3 paydays and the potential, quite frankly. And then 3-step formula we work with sellers to make it simple and predictable. Some case studies, as I said, and then I'll leave you with some resources. There's some free resources. There's some other resources if you guys want to get a little more aggressive, and I'm here to answer questions at the end. No matter where we are, Jay, I'll stop and take a breather so we can get everybody out of here and do some Q&A. So I don't know where everyone is right now. Most people we meet want either supplemental income or total replacement. Many people in our community come in with the single goal to leave their W-2. And so have done that quite successfully at a high rate. People leaving corporate America, really good paying jobs, just no lifestyle. Others, and I know there's some in this group, are probably in the bucket of, hey, I got my expenses covered, I'm okay. I can plow a lot of these 3 payday deals into some tax-free vehicles or tax-deferred vehicles. And then, of course, your own home. I don't to this day use a bank and sign personally on a note. I just don't want to do that anymore since the 2008 crash. I learned the hard way. So if you got nothing out of this, but hey, I got some cool new skill sets to maybe do something for my family, we all won. Quick backdrop besides what Jay already told you, and I just alluded to the crash. I went through that in a pretty rough way. I don't know, there's probably some of you that have went through that, and probably some of you that were in real estate going through that. But up until that point, call it 17th year or so, I had done quite conventional, like somebody mentioned earlier. I think it was Ashley. That's what I did. I thought that was the norm. As much as I thought I knew, I went and signed bank loans and did all the conventional stuff. I remember like it was yesterday, like a light switch went off in '08, February of '08 to be exact, sitting with my kids, like embarrassed, not knowing what to do, ready to sell the house, move into literally a one-bedroom apartment, you name it, IRS, tow trucks, repossessions. I went through it all in that little stint from 8, 9, and 10. And then I sort of got out of my little pity party, and my wife said, look, why don't you get back at it? And so I just developed some rules, and the rules were no banks. The rules were no more getting on that treadmill, what I call the one payday. And the rule was also find a coach, because twice in my life I didn't have a coach. And in hindsight, which is scary, I look back and those were the biggest bumps. So those are kind of the rules I set up. Real briefly, my eyes anyway, there's a lot more mistakes that I can set here, but from my eyes, there's three common ones that I'm seeing like nonstop in the community. I do a lot of what we call strategy calls still, because I love hearing people's story when they come in. And the first one I see is just lack of implementation. I guess I'd ask you guys, and if you can put it in the chat, just type in yes or no. Have you ever yourself or known someone take a course, go to a seminar, and then not take action, not implement? Just yes or no quickly in the chat. Yes, yay or nay. You took a course, you didn't take action, or you know someone that took a course and didn't take action. Pretty rampant, right? Look at 91%. I think you can Google different stats on this, but 91% of the books bought aren't read. I got that recently. I was like blown away. So it doesn't surprise me that that's one of the biggest challenges. I also spoke with Claudia ad nauseum when she joined our community. She had spent like 100 grand on programs. I'm not saying she dropped the ball, and I'm not blaming her teacher or her, but she spent 100 grand on courses and never implemented, never did a deal. And that's unfortunately in the real estate business where Jay and I operate, it's too often, in my opinion. It doesn't need to be. Second common mistake, no hands-on interactive learning. Jay and I's communities are both very, I call it interactive, because when we're operating in the real estate space doing creative deals, we're doing it with the community members. They're never left alone to go off and do it on their own. We're literally making live calls, doing script reviews. Sounds like Jay does a lot of the stuff that we do as well, no surprise. So hands-on all the time at any level in the company. And last one, I think this has gotten a lot worse in the last 8 or 10 years. And if you guys are on social media, you are experiencing this, and that is you're getting marketed heavy with empty promises, in my opinion. Too much, like get rich quick tomorrow plans. And what that's caused for Jay and I, who've been around a while and who educate with the long-term expectation in mind, is people coming in with this expectation that I got to do a deal tomorrow or this doesn't work. And then they beat themselves up. That doesn't work. It has nothing to do with it. Just they reset their expectations incorrectly because of all the garbage out there being marketed to all of us. So we can kind of avoid those three things. In my opinion, a lot of the junk gets put aside. I mentioned earlier that one of my rules was not doing deals that had just one payday. You know, that was when I built homes and I did condominium conversions, and when I was a broker back in the 90s as an agent. So those were deals that just got paid once, right? And the new way of doing real estate is what Jay alluded to a few times. We did trademark it several years ago, and that's the 3 paydays. I'm going to walk you through what those mean conceptually and then dollars to them. And again, I'll put some case studies to them. When I go do the case study, guys, I know I go quickly. It's just so you can see how the paydays operate. You can jump on YouTube at some point and see 400 or 500 of them. It's free. Just go look at them on our channel. But I'll give you a taste. We do attract a lot of people like Sergio who were wholesalers or rehabbers. That's why I said at the beginning, this might be a tack onto, not a instead of, who either thought that was the only way to go. I hear this all the time. Well, I was told they got to start wholesaling. Not true. Our payday one acts like a wholesale deal. Why not pick up the other 2 paydays? What we've done in this process of all the bumps and speed bumps and curbs I've had to go through, curveballs, is we're helping everyday people like you and I bridge the gap. The gap would be the time from day one when you see a course or you go to a seminar and the day you do a deal. Our company, we obsess over what we call TTFD, time to first deal. So we're always trying to close that gap. Unfortunately, some people, as I said earlier, get to us and they've been in that gap forever. And so they've lost the confidence. It has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with it. It's just a stacking of education that led its way to the right people, eventually to us, I hope. 75 years now, so it's not just me. It started just me. 75 years between my son, my son-in-law, and now we have 4 amazing coaches. So the experience is rampant, and to tap into that is just a godsend for so many people. Again, that interactive learning. And I wish it were as easy as, I wanted to throw this on here recently. I added this because if it were as easy as me saying, go to YouTube and you'll learn all the skill sets and you'll see all the numbers, that's great. That's how you do a deal. If it were that easy, you wouldn't need us, quite frankly. It's all the stuff that comes to the table with trying to be an entrepreneur, right? If you're in business or you're operating within Jay's community, you're operating as an entrepreneur, and that brings with it challenges that have nothing to do with what I teach or Jay teaches. So it's all the other stuff that our community does that I think is so important. Creative financing that Jay mentioned earlier, creative financing, it means so much, right? It's been around way before banking. And so for me, I'll tell you what it means for us and for our family team. It's niching it down to not using banks, not using large down payments. I say not large because sometimes, as you'll see in the examples, there's a need for you to come up with a little bit of funds, but not gobs of money, and never signing personally. For us, that means owner financing. And for us, niche it even more, it means free and clear properties typically. And this can be done in any asset class, but I'm going to talk about residential today. So owner financing is going to be for us when we have an owner that's free and clear. We do a lot with sub 2, like I think it was Crystal that does those. Talk about that, because when those are done properly, they're amazing. And then lease purchase, where we don't buy, we control. Those are the only 3 ways that we buy. Coming out of the crash, that was one of the rules, never signed personally, as I said earlier, and only operate in this realm. Well, we still do it to this day. When I say we're in about 80 markets now with people just like you around the country and a little bit in Canada. And then our own deals, we still do. So that keeps us current. That keeps us on top of everything as far as agreements. And we hit a curveball, it gets added to the agreements in the resource center, and we help our students do the exact same thing. And I know some of this will be basic for you guys, so I'll do it briefly, but I don't want to assume everybody knows every single thing I'm going through. So let me just define what those 3 categories are. The seller is your bank and owner financing. So just picture, instead of bringing new money to the table, the seller financing note is listed on the settlement statement instead of new money coming to the table. The monthly payments are made to the seller. Now, caveat here, almost every single residential deal that we've done, almost every, is done with principal-only payments. Principal only, 0 interest. Picture that in the environment where we have interest rates right now. So you're kind of taking off the table the terrible headache of underwriting, in my opinion. And I'm sorry if there's bankers here, but whoops. But that's just a complete nightmare. I remember going for a loan in, like, I think it was 16. We had to put a small loan on a house that we were going to tear down, my wife and I, because we absolutely wanted this street and couldn't get it on the financing. And she said, what do most people do with all the things you just went through? You've been in business this long, and you were frustrated. What do most people do that never went through this? It said it's frustrating for everyone. That's called life with the financing. What is sub 2 or subject to? A lot of buzz around this right now. A lot of people doing it incorrectly. If you paper this right, meaning legally, you'll have a great experience. The mortgage, when you buy the property, stays in the seller's name. Title transfers to you or your entity, and you make payments to the bank. Who is more likely to sell this way? Unlike the free and clear owner financing. Someone that needs financial relief. Not always, but a lot of times someone that needs financial relief. Let me just throw out some numbers here why I love this right now. From an opportunity standpoint, look at the stats. And these will change. You can Google it, but these are not too old, about a month. 92% almost, below 6% rates. And then rates below 5%, 4 out of 5. And then another quarter below 3%. Think about that. You can find these, not in Canada because it's hard to get data, but in the United States, you can find these sellers. You'll stumble upon some on accident, and you'll find others by targeting them. What is lease purchase before we jump into how these look number-wise? Well, the difference is the deed doesn't change. So I'm going to tie up the property, control the property with a lease purchase instrument. That's it. I'm going to still pay the bank. I'm going to pay it directly on behalf of the seller, but the title stays in their name. I do cloud title so that they can't sell to their Uncle Johnny without me knowing, and then I'm out of the picture. So we do cloud title with a notice of option or memorandum of real estate, depending on what state you're in. 3-step formula to the paydays. Simple. Find the seller. I'll show you some lead sources you can use if we have time in any niche. Agree on the terms. All we're doing is solving problems. Actually, one of 2 things. We're solving problems, or in the case of a free and clear property, we're perhaps helping them accomplish a goal that the market's not. I bought my commercial building that way from a very savvy real estate investor who absolutely did not want conventional. He wanted owner financing, dictated the terms and said, I want to do owner financing. I was helping him accomplish what the market wasn't bringing him. Realtors were bringing him full price offers. He said they don't get it. Realtors were bringing him deals that were always conventional. We came in with a nice creative offer and got the deal. All we did is solve. And then we fill it, in our case, for the sake of time tonight, we fill most of our properties with tenant buyers on the residential side. Buyers that are true buyers that just need time for financing. Big market there right now since COVID, even more. People coming out of corporate America, they start their own business. They're not bankable today. They need 2 years of seasoning. I was on a note buyers podcast, Jay, about a month ago, and he gave me some stats when we got off the air and said it's actually getting a lot worse. Some banks are requiring longer seasoning than 2 years. So here comes the buyer out of corporate America, excited, starts their own business, has good credit, has cash, can't buy a house. They're great buyers for rent to own because they're going to cash you out, and that's what we want to do. We want to set them up to win. So let's walk through the finding the seller, and I'll do it very briefly. We swim in these ponds, so to speak. Expireds for sale by owner and for rent by owner. There's some resources for you if you want them. They are very, very inexpensive. I think for less than $100, you can get a hold of those leads. There's a cool list out right now called Distressed that is pre anything foreclosure. Like it's nothing to do with the house. It's if they're slipping on auto, medical, utilities, rent, things like that, they're getting picked up in this new list. That's a cool list. That's before any other investors are getting to them. The pre-foreclosure list and the foreclosure list, we all can get, and we always have. But that's a cool new list. So that's what I call a niche list. We do mailings. I just do them sparingly because when I started after the crash, frankly, I had no cash. So I had my cell phone, and that's all I could do. And so that's why I went after those earlier lists. Now we have virtual assistants calling them all. So we don't have to do the initial call. We do some niche mailings sparingly. And then referrals are huge right now because you've got realtors that are definitely, there might be some realtors here, are definitely feeling what's going on in the market. And you're even seeing in the MLS people offering creative real estate now, creative financing. So people looking for other alternatives. I said earlier, wholesales and flippers, big draw right now for us because they're, in my opinion, and I have a lot of good friends doing it, so I'm not poo-pooing it, but they're jobs. They're one payday deals, and you got to do it again. And every January, you're going to start over. And then mortgage lenders have always been great for us because I'll show you some stats here coming up, but there's a large percentage of the market that today in current state cannot get financing. Just fact of life right now. So I know you can literally, because this has been around for like decades, you can find those three things: lease purchase, sub-2, and owner. You can find them elsewhere. Crystal's been doing them. People have been doing them. I feel that we can help you structure the best win-win-win with the structure that we've set up internally, because these deals are win-win-win. I think it's the least predatory of all real estate niches when we do business this way for a win-win-win with the buyer, seller, etc. However, when I said solve problems earlier or help people earlier, what we say and how we say it is important. And so this was a New Jersey deal, actually, one of his first, but it was just a script tweak. This guy had been in business for years and years and did lease purchase all by himself. Did him fine. Go ahead, Jay, you say something?
Yeah, Crystal muted him out.
Okay, sorry. I thought someone was asking. We'll get questions at the end, I promise you. All right. Agreeing on the terms. Why do some people need you to help them? Debt relief, I mentioned earlier. Job relocation. Military relocation. On the island here, I live on an island, 3-town island. We have a Navy base. So we're always seeing that. And in the state of Connecticut, the same. California, same. There's a lot of states that have that, and you can help them because they usually have to move quickly. They want to maximize their price. They have time. They want to create cash flow like the gentleman I bought my building from, or just purely estate and tax planning, which was also a reason the gentleman sold me the building, for estate and tax planning. He ended up passing away during it. So I think that it was all well planned on his part. So instead of leaving an asset, he left a cash flow stream. And then all kinds of other personal reasons. I could do a whole hour on that. Now, how do we exit these properties? Rent to own primarily. Rent to own is nothing more than a program to help true buyers, as I said earlier, who need to become mortgage ready, not renters who someday maybe perhaps could buy or would like to buy but have messed their credit up for 40 years. That's not who we're dealing with. And look, I rented when I was down in the dumps, guys. I'm not downgrading that. What I am saying is I want to deal with buyers who just need time, but they're true buyers. Look at this. Look at the rough stats here. Talk to a mortgage broker that's doing anywhere around like 100 loans a month, or a company. They'll give you roughly these numbers. About 17 or 18% are qualifying today on the spot. Does it mean they all need 3 years to qualify? No. But today, if you take a snapshot in time, about 17 or 18% are able to be qualified. Does that mean all 82% on this pie graph would be great buyers? No. But that's the pool we get to fish in, a lot bigger than the conventional market. Now, where do they come from? Self-employed, I mentioned earlier. Credit challenges, big one. Used to be the prevalent, now it's more the self-employed changing around their careers. Credit repairs, you takes anywhere from bare minimum 6 to 12 months up to 24, typical. And so we work with them. Job change, same as self-employed. If they're changing jobs, they need seasoning, usually 2 years. New business start, same thing. Where do we get how do we generate leads once we get the property? Because everyone says, well, what's easier, getting the property or selling it? Absolutely selling it is the easiest, because now you've got something that's rare in the market. In most states, most of your areas right now, you're not seeing a boatload of rent-to-own signs everywhere you drive. So you have a little bit of an advantage over the conventional inventory out there. So you're going to use signs throughout the neighborhood. You're going to use signs in the yard, and you're going to use a property-specific number to capture those leads so you know exactly where it's coming from. We used to do all of this manually, and now we engage a company that actually, once we get a property under agreement, we call it a taken. We engage Prosperity.io, who then markets to 28 or 35 different portals at once. So we're not doing it on our own. And then once we put the tenant buyer in the house, they're actually serving as an escrow company to collect it from the buyer and dump the difference in our account and the student's account. Pretty neat. That just came about 3 years ago. Why do they need you? I alluded to most of this, but they need time to either improve their credit, seasoning, or I didn't say increase their down payment. What do you think happened, guys, when the mortgage rates doubled? Because we all saw it happen. My daughter and son-in-law were in the midst of buying, and that happened. So, and they had their heart set on a property. How many people did that kick to the sidelines, so to speak? So what if they had a chance to get in that same neighborhood and just buy their way into that rate, meaning just have a bigger down payment? And so we give them time to do that if that's what they want to do. Now let's jump into the numbers. And I keep looking at my clock. I want to make sure I protect your time, guys, and respect Jay's time. 3 paydays then would be what? Down payment. Remember, they're a buyer. They have a down payment. They just didn't know they're not financeable. Payday 2, monthly cash flow. I'm paying something on the underlying asset. I'm collecting something that plus on a monthly basis until they get financing. That delta I get to keep. Payday 3 is pretty cool because it is all of the equity at the end. Now, where does that come from? 1, your markup in the property. You'll see a couple case studies. 2, all of the principal pay down through the course of the deal. Picture you paying $1,500 a month. Let's pick that number on a $400,000 house you buy, principal only. Well, that's 18 grand a year in principal payment that you're getting, but it's being paid by your tenant buyer. So payday 3 can be a very, very big one, especially in the owner financing deals. Here's our averages internally as a family company, and then in the community, they're much bigger. We're kind of in a middle to lower size houses and prices. The community runs up to 350 grand. That was a new record last February, all 3 paydays. So these aren't deals that you go, okay, I got to go out and do 20 of these or 40 of these. Most people, if they can get out one of these a month and get that engine going after some time of learning and skill set development, that's going to be a game changer for most people. Let me give you a scenario of why the seller sold here and give you the numbers, and this is owner financing, just so you can relate some of this to what we just went over. This wasn't expired. Sadly, this gentleman, this was the second home he inherited, and he lost one of his 3 children at this house, one of his twins. So he wanted nothing to do with it. Talk about solving a problem quickly. And winter was coming on top of that. This is in the state of Connecticut on a lake. We bought it at $399. He had it on the market for that exact same price, didn't sell. We did a 48-month deal. We turned around and sold it for $429 to a tenant buyer, actually a school teacher who needed time to repair some credit, had some cash, got a deposit of 80 grand. 40 was up front and 40 over time. Why does that happen? Well, some people, if they have 3 to 7-ish and everything else checks out, will let them in 3 to 7%. But they've got to have a game plan. And my son has mastered this over the last 12 years, how we make sure we vet them to be either coming from retroactive raises. We get that from a state trooper once, or tax refunds is a big one. So every March is a very big payday for us in the community because people have scheduled their tax refund or a piece of it to help with their down payment. So payday 1 was a nice one on this. Actually collected a lot of the profit up front. You'll see what I mean at the end, how that works. Payment to the seller was $1,000 a month principal only. We collected $1,700. Spread there, we had to pay insurance out of it, but spread there was $33,600. This is since cashed out. Payday 3 works like this. We mark the house up 30 grand, as you see on the right-hand side of the screen. The principal pay down was $48,000. There's the power of the principal pay down on an owner financing deal. The Payday 1 you have to give credit for, right? It's just like if we buy a house today and we go to the closing table next month, they're going to give us credit on the settlement statement for our down payment. Well, same thing here. It has to be sourced, everything the same way. So our Payday 3 was actually a negative because we collected so much up front. 4 years early, we collected that much up front. Cashing out of this as a total payday, plus the rent that we had above the garage, as this picture looks, as a garage with an apartment above it, we had just under 100 grand still. So 4 years. Do some of these deals get extended? Yes, profits would go up. Do some of these deals cash out earlier? Yes, profits will go down a little bit. That's the norm. Just giving you kind of a high level. Quick metric for you guys. Find a property in your area, 200 grand or more purchase price, structure a 4-year term, structure a monthly payment of $1,000 a month. You just created just about 6 figures, if not 6 figures every time on an owner financing deal, free and clear. Almost every time. So now, do you find 5 of these a month? No. But can you go out and find 5 a year? Yes. And these are pretty lucrative deals. I'm going to show you a lease purchase, and then we'll kind of point you to some resources and do some Q&A here. This is a lease purchase. So the reason I want to show you 2 different ones, we buy it differently, but the exit, you'll see how the paydays work. Same thing. It's just the principal pay down is a little less because this one has an existing mortgage. Here's how it worked. This was a referral from a realtor. He sends us like 3 of these a year that he can't sell. If you know realtors in your marketplace, and they're all over now, who are having trouble selling some properties, you can speak to them, and they would love to know that you're an outlet for them to still be the expert and get their seller goals done. We bought this or tied it up on a lease purchase for $283,784. That was the mortgage balance. No equity. Military, leaving the state. Tied it up for 36 months or before is how the language is. When I say tied it up, guys, just so you know, all of these purchase deals have a whopping $10 deposit built into our agreements, $10. So when you're new or newer or a little bit nervous about doing deals, is lease purchase a nice way into it? Yes. I prefer to buy them all now, but lease purchase is a very simple, the simplest way and the least amount of risk. We sold it for $329,900 on rent owned. So just like the last screen, so I'll just kind of click through them. Payday 1, a little smaller, but it was all up front. So that's a nice one. Payday 2, there's an underlying mortgage being paid directly to the bank by us for $1,818. That's principal, interest, taxes, insurance, PITI. We collected from the buyer, though, $2,345. So there's a spread there over the term. This one also is cashed out for just under 19 grand. Payday 3 works similarly to the last deal. We marked the house up. We had some principal pay down. See how small that is compared to the last deal? Because it's an underlying mortgage. So all we're getting is that benefit as it went. We give them credit for their deposit at the closing table. We still have a Payday 3 of 38 grand. All 3 paydays, a little over 80 grand. So picture this. This realtor deal knows what we do, knows that he could come to our events and learn this, and chooses to just swim in his own lane. That's fine. And so he refers them to us. His commission wouldn't have been that on the sale of the house, as you guys can figure out, even if you got top commission, right? So he gladly refers to us. We give him 25% of anything that we make on the Payday 1 up front or over time. All right. I want to give you some averages because on a show earlier today, Jay, actually a podcast, and they said, well, your area might be this, but what about other areas? So I'm going to give you 3 different states real quick. Rick's in New Hampshire, average paydays, a little under 90 grand. He actually was over 100 and then a couple cash outs early. Rick was with the government 30 years and now coaches with us. So he's just an awesome story. Mike, 3 paydays, Northern California, 82 grand, a little over ours. Brian O'Neill, Chicago, 80 grand. See, they're all about the same because those price ranges were similar. Rusty in LA, California, nothing comes in under 100 grand because of price range. Doesn't matter if he does owner financing or lease purchase. So just to give you, if anyone's thinking, okay, I wonder if it works in my market, I wonder if it works at this price range, it doesn't matter. That's why I want to show you that. From a quality of income standpoint, I wanted to show you this flash because all this was us capturing 12 months of our deals when we were at our peak. My son-in-law, and myself, and our team. It was about 21 deals. But in that 12-month snapshot, instead of doing 1 payday deals where we got to go do it again, we created payday 1s are just like you doing a single deal, like a wholesale deal or a flip. But payday 2s are monthly. $6,400 monthly built just in those 21 deals. That's, I think, more important than these bigger numbers. Then 822 in cash outs, which ends up getting phased out, like some cash out in 2 years, some 3, some 4. So you put this on an Excel sheet and it becomes a pretty cool way for you to plan your living and your lifestyle. So you're not a slave, you can get off the treadmill. That's just a totally different quality of income, which is why I want to show you that snapshot. I kind of warned you guys disclosure-wise at the beginning that I was going to go fast. So I know this probably felt like a little bit of a blast with a fire hose. I'm going to walk you through, I told Jay I'd walk you through the brand new apprentice program. It's about 15 months in the making, and then give you some free stuff as well. Our sort of solution to all what I said earlier, all the stuff being thrown at the market right now, is our apprentice program. It's called 3 Paydays Apprentice, and I'm going to walk you through what's in it for those of you that say, yeah, that might be interesting. Or if you're not ready to do that, you can have a call with me. And if you're not ready to do that, you can grab our free stuff. It's all good. Either way is okay. Here's what's in the apprentice program. We used to sell what's called our QLS, our Quantum Leap system. We're in version 4.0. So we painfully, and Jay, you know how this is, to go through a course entirely and update it. It's painful. We've gone through it a 4th time this last year. And so there's 11 or 12, I think now. And it's been our revised model is out now. I will tell you that there are mods for each thing I touched. Owner financing, sub 2, buyer mod for my son Nick. Everything that we talked about is in there in an in-depth manner. The contracts alone, we have tweaked these things since 2012. If a deal goes sideways for some reason, or if a deal is too challenging, these things have been adjusted and adjusted and adjusted. Hundreds of hours of legal work. And Jay and I have both been at seminars where attorneys sadly sell these for ungodly amount. Those are all in our course in one mod by itself. I want to show you what this looks like online. Jay, just give me a thumbs up if there's sound. If there's not, I'll move right on. Hold on 1 second. Okay, thank you. Hi, it's Chris Prefontaine, and I want to thank you for your interest in the Quantum Leap system, or QLS, as you'll hear us refer to many times. Commit to doing whatever it takes for however long it takes to create a monster lifestyle, whatever that is for you. And I'm not talking just financially, but a lifestyle you want and deserve and wish to design. I look forward to working together. Just want to show what that looks like online. When you go through the academy, you will be certified Creative Financing Real Estate Association. This has been big lately when we're on the telephone and they go, yeah, I got a call from a bunch of wholesales or flippers. And I simply ask, and our students ask, are they certified by the Creative Financing Real Estate Association? It's a game changer credibility wise. That comes with it. We'll give you a free ticket to a live event. That's this year in Boston. It's right in the financial district. Really cool. We only do it once a year. That's a glimpse of what happens there. So unlike the small private boot camps we do where we make calls and things like that, this is more of an update on technology this year, AI, update on the resources we use as a family. We bring them all in and kind of put everybody in the same room. So it's about 100 people or so. You'll have a free ticket to that. It's 12 weeks, guys, of coaching. We used to sell it for that retail price you see there. That's not going to be tonight. You have a chance to, not everybody can do it, but you have a chance to touch base with us 5 times a week. That's what I meant earlier when I said we don't leave you. You can bring calls. We can do live calls to yourselves. You can be at an appointment. We can help you. It doesn't matter. 5 times a week in designated time slots. You also have access to our Slack community. That's where we all live. No matter what level someone's participating in or experiencing in the company, they're in Slack, including myself, my son-in-law, all our coaches. So you get nonstop access. I won't say 24/7, but you can be in there 24/7. We run an In the Trenches boot camp here privately, right out my window here in the conference room. It's not big. It's a private conference room. You're going to see a quick video of that just so you get a glimpse. That's rolling up our sleeves, standing next to me at my desk here, doing live calls with your leads so that anyone who's bringing leads is leaving here with deals. By far, the most effective thing we've done in the 12 years of doing coaching, by far. And this is one of the things that I said was missing when I went looking for stuff. No one's doing it because, quite frankly, it's quite labor intensive. You go with us for 2.25 days here, 2.5. We're going to work on, my main goal is you leaving more confident and clear about how you're going to get there. Let me give you a glimpse of what that looks like real briefly on video here, and then we'll move on.
One of my biggest takeaways was the amount of help that I got with the leads this week. I've got 5 appointments going home, and it's been phenomenal. I even jumped to high six because they're going to help me get stuff done.
The coaching, the guidance, the insights, it's been very exciting and very motivating. So glad I came.
This is one of the best experiences I have. If you're looking to get involved with a community who genuinely cares and can get you from A to Z to get to your end goal of where you want to be, you have to check this out.
One of my biggest takeaways was Nick helping me on the buyer meeting that I had with my buyer and kind of going detail step by step through the process.
It's pretty tight, guys. We bring in around 10. That room maybe had 14 in it. And so all I want you to do is get in the mindset, no matter how many deals you're doing, with or without private financing, I want you to get in the mindset of what it might look for a 60 or a 70 or an 80 grand deal with the 3 paydays. That's it. And so it's reality. If you get in there and you let yourself be held accountable with us and some of the things that we do, I'm huge on sort of taking action. And so I want to break down how easy we made this for you guys to get involved. Everything I just flashed you comes out to like 12 or 13 grand. We sell it presently for 14 and change. And for Jay's group tonight, we'll do $997. I believe there's a 2 and a 3 pay in there too when you go to check out. So it's pretty simple. On top of that, we do a money back guarantee. I don't want anyone ever in the community, we've been doing this a long time now, that says, you know what, didn't work for me or isn't for me. So no questions asked. 30 days, you call, say, give me a refund. I don't care if it's a life event or you just don't like what you saw. It doesn't matter. I've been quoting Tony Robbins for years on this one because we've all done it. I put my head in the sand for 4 years. And at the end of that, I'm like, I should have done that, So let's not should all of ourselves to what Tony says, and let's get into action. I said it when I opened. I said, if you just learn this creative niche on top of what Jay's teaching you to do your own house, it's a win. It's a big win because nobody can take that skill set away from you, ever. So it's just another stack in your real estate portfolio without running to it another shiny object because it's only helping you what you're doing right now. You guys can scan the code or use Jay's private link there. So I know that it's with Jay and the discount. And Jay, we can do some Q&A now. I wanted to make sure I stopped at 10 of. I think we're almost there. Make sure we get questions in.
Sure.
And I'll leave that up in case I should have left that up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Let me just make one comment and then we'll open it up for questions. One thing that I love about your process of finding leads is one of your main sources is expired listings. And what's beautiful about expired listings is that when you're buying creatively, you can get them their price. You can give them their price in a lot of cases. I mean, you can buy for what they were, listing it at or close to it when you're offering owner financing. Another big point that you made was making monthly payments that goes 100% towards the principal and none of the interest. So that pay down comes along very, very quickly. So I love the expired listings source that you got. And I also like the, I think you called it the prosperity.io, to where you're able to market the properties once you have them to find very, very quickly your potential rent to own buyers. So that was a very valuable give that you had there in the presentation, Chris.
Jay, thanks. You brought up something that I didn't say, so thank you, regarding specifically full price, because a lot of phone calls, they say, no, I got 15 calls and you guys want to steal my house. They all say it, right? The sellers. And so you go, whoa, no, I haven't seen your house yet, but we can usually pay close to market value. And then boom, we jump into questions. So good point.
Exactly. All right, well, let's open it up for questions. Any questions or comments about Chris and what he does and how he does his business?
I'm an open book guy, so fire away.
In fact, you don't even have to type it in the chat. You can just unmute and ask your question or share a comment.
There is no way you guys all followed my New England accent that clearly. This is not possible.
That's right.
Got Les Ehart here in Kaz. I actually done a deal just like you're talking, and I had to kick some people out and redo it a little bit, but I'm having trouble getting somebody back in there now.
So you have it tied up how? Do you own it?
It's a
And-
subject too.
Great. Okay. So there's no clock ticking. That's good. So, I mean, Prosperity IO is good. I will tell you, if you didn't already do it, signage and the basic Craigslist, sorry, Zillow. But if you go to prosperity.com, .io, they hit every site you're going to ever find. For the
We
rental
have-
buyer.
We have the signage, and we've been on Zillow, and we've been on Craigslist, and I think we've been on about 3 or 4 more groups here locally.
And we're making the monthly payments.
Okay, so this is important. How long has it been empty?
Since August.
August of last year?
No, October of last year. Yeah. And
Okay.
that was after the people that were there quit paying us for 6 months, and we had to pay an attorney. We had to pay people to set everything out. It was a mess. And it's a
Okay.
beautiful home.
Yeah,
Couple comments.
it's a smart home. It's only 3 years old.
Okay, okay. We'll use this as a little bit of a mini coaching session. I'm 99% sure, but I'll ask you, when you brought the buyer in, was there a rigid process to qualify, and was there a big down payment?
Yes,
Too big.
when we brought her in, it was $25,000 down, non-refundable.
Okay.
And
So we got that.
we got that, yeah.
And was there a mortgage ready plan done by a third party to say, here's what they need to do to be mortgage ready?
No, we didn't go to screen the tenant on this one.
Okay. So that's probably the headache, but don't be bummed out with it, but let's fix it. I'll do it. If you want to do a free call with me, I'll happy to jump on with you guys, and I can put my son on the speakerphone because he designed that process. I'll give you a free strategy call. How's that?
Works for me.
Yeah.
Free's
Okay.
good.
Because I don't want to see you sit. I want good stories out there, and I want to see you fix that. So if you want to go to smartrealestatecoach.com/action. You'll get on my calendar, and then I can help you guys out, or Nick can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for offering that.
No problem. I want to fix it.
Awesome. Who else has a question for Chris or a comment?
Hey, Chris, I got something, and this is related to Les's question. I'm in Huntsville like they are too.
Yeah, I remember.
And,
Kyle, how you doing?
Yeah, good to see you.
Good.
I have noticed that, and this might be what you're experiencing, Les, that folks don't have the down payment money.
Right.
Yeah, that's been kind of an issue here lately. You'll almost have to work it where you like what Chris was talking about, have them make payment,
Staggered.
get something in now and then get the
Yeah,
rest
we do
over.
a down payment assistance program, but people haven't even been interested in that right now.
Mm,
And you
yeah.
know,
You need mass, you guys need mass exposure. You need mass exposure and then a system so you don't go, oh my gosh, I don't have time to breathe with these calls, because you should get inundated when it's done right, and then let the system weed them out. So, for example, in the buyer mod, there are live calls and live meetings. I'm going to give you a snip of that when you call me, but just so everybody knows, it's extensive. So you go through that and you go, okay, I'm doing that, but I'm not doing that. I'm doing that. Every little bit counts. It's not like a buffet where you go, well, I'll try that, that, and that. You're not going to have the same result, right? So let's see where the holes are and see if we can fill them, because we're in 80 markets. It's not like I don't know that this is out there, right? So is it harder to collect a deposit when the consumers are not as comfortable? Sure. So that goes up and down, but your system doesn't change. So let's snip it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Chris. Carl, did you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Who else? We got time for one more question or comment for Chris before we let him go. All right. Well, y'all, let's give Chris the very sophisticated PMA golf clap right there. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks, Jay.
For sharing with us. And And we really appreciate all this. That was fantastic, Chris. Some ton of value right there you shared with us.
I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys at the event. Love to interact with you. And if I can help, give a yell. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate you. Good to
All
see
right.
you.
God bless you, Chris. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, y'all. So mark your calendars to save the date. We had an amazing private money live event 2 weeks ago. And the next one already on the calendar is October 8th, 9th, and 10th. October 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday right here in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. Y'all have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. God bless you, and we'll see you right back here next time. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Are you feeling inspired by the knowledge you gained in this episode? Then head over to jconner.com/moneyguide. That's jconner.com/moneyguide and download your free guide that shares 7 reasons why private money will skyrocket your real estate investing business right now. Again, that's jconner.com/moneyguide to get your free guide. We'll see you next time on Raising Private Money with Jay Conner.